partial results from Sunday's election in the Republic of Congo show that veteran leader Denis Sassou Nguesso is in the lead. The results cover 69% of the electorate and show Nguesso leading by around 67% of the vote. Oil and timber-rich Congo has been on edge since an October constitutional referendum ended a two-term limit on presidential mandates, thus allowing the 72-year-old to run for office once again. Meanwhile, the US and the EU have called for calm as communications were down for a third day. A government official has been quoted as saying they will be brought back after results are announced. The incumbent side is optimistic of a first-round win for Nguesso, who has been in power for the last 32 years.
Probability leads us to a first-round victory. Now, let's wait for the details of everything to be published by the Electoral Commission. But at this stage, I think we can roundly anticipate a victory in the first round.
Well, let's get to the latest now on those elections. I'm joined by CCTV's Jane Keo live for us in Brazzaville. Jane, of course, the ruling party sounding quite confident. We understand that partial results are showing Nguesso in the lead. What's the current status, though, as we speak?
Well, Lindy, at the moment, this remains the case, and this is because we're still working with those figures released by the Electoral Commission about 24 hours ago. We've not really heard from the Electoral Commission since then, or the Ministry of Interior, which constitutionally should be making that final declaration, that final proclamation of Sunday's vote. But the Electoral Commission did say, like you said yesterday, that they were releasing only results from 70 out of the 110 voting districts. 40 districts had not handed in their results. But according to the 70 districts that had, they did put the incumbent, Denis Sassou Nguesso, on the lead with about 67% of the vote. He was followed not closely, he was followed by his former ally, that's Guy Brice Pofeit Colelas with 16%, while the former army chief Jean-Marie Mokoko came in a distant third with about 7%. Again, Lindy, there's still no word about when this final proclamation or declaration will be made. We expect it to be made by the Interior Ministry. That's what the Constitution said. And this announcement, we understand, could be made through the national TV or radio.
Well, we're hearing, of course, that the opposition has some major doubts with regards to the results that have been declared so far. And we understand that they're saying that they're going to publish their own set of election results. How have authorities responded to this?
Well, Linda, there's been no official communication about this, but I can tell you there's been tight and high security, particularly in areas considered to be opposition strongholds. But, of course, Brazzaville is widely considered to be an opposition stronghold, but there are neighborhoods that are considered to be hotspots at a time like this, and this is where security has mainly been concentrated. But back to your question, the opposition did hold a press conference, and I'm talking about Guy Brice Pofeit Colela's party, that's the Kodeha party. He did hold a press conference about 2 hours ago where they did not release any kind of results, but they disputed what was released yesterday by the Electoral Commission. They said there were disparities in those tallies. They said they're not tallying up. They said there are problems. The figures there are not adding up to what particularly here is to what is here in Brazzaville. Remember, the Brazzaville has over the years and historically been an opposition stronghold, and that's why on Monday when we spoke to Guy Pofeit Colelas, he said he was on the lead he was leading, and he said that he would only accept the results if the incumbent Denis Sassou Nguesso proves that he did beat him here in Brazzaville. Now, the opposition, of course, before the elections kicked off on Sunday, they were making allegations of pre-election fraud by the government. They raised concerns about things like voter bribery, the registration of voters in multiple polling stations, and they said they had put up their own organization to tally the votes alongside the Electoral Commission, which they said was not credible and was partisan. Lindy?
Well, of course, Jane, another issue that would be aggravating a somewhat tense situation already is this communication clampdown that's been happening now for around 3 days. What's the latest on the lifting of that communication shutdown?
Well, it's not been lifted yet, and we understand that authorities will only lift the ban once the results are announced and if the security situation allows. Now, of course, it's been 4 days of a total communication blackout across the country. People have not been able to call, text, or even use the internet. And of course, you can imagine on the ground, people are angry. They say they sort of feel they're being harassed. They've not been keeping in touch with their families, with their friends. They really don't know what's happening across the country. Even some of them were surprised to hear that the Electoral Commission had announced some of the results yesterday, and this is because of the communication shutdown that has been happening over the last 4 days. And this has also affected businesses, Lindy. Over the last 4 days, many shops and businesses in the central business district and in downtown Brazzaville have remained closed, and those who dare open, they close down their businesses as early as 3 to 4 p.m. And this is because of the uncertainty. There's a lot of anxiety, and people are really concerned and they are worried about what's really going to happen even once those results are going to be announced.
All right, Jane, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much for that update. Jane Keogh live for us there in Brazzaville.